Good evening, everyone. Welcome to First United Methodist Church. We are so glad you're here. My name is Ben Stapleton. I'm Director of Music Ministries here, and we are so happy that you've joined us on this holy night. And it is a joy and a privilege to be able to walk the road with Jesus through this week, his last week before his crucifixion, and then tonight as we retrace his steps to and at the cross. And we hope that you are moved by that. We hope you feel Christ's love most of all shown to each one of us through the readings that we'll have and through the music that we will sing tonight. Do pay close attention. If it says hymn in the bulletin, then you will be a participant in that song. So make sure you're ready for that. I will say that there are a couple that we will not stand on where it says to stand. We will stay seated for Our Holy Jesus, and we'll stay seated for O Sacred Head Now Wounded. So other than that, we will stand where it says to. But again, we're happy that you're here and looking forward to worshiping together tonight.
It's early in the final week. The props and players for Friday's drama are in position. 6-inch spikes are in the bin. A cross beam leans against a shed wall. Thorn limbs are wrapped around a trellis, awaiting the weaving of a soldier's fingers. The players are nearing the stage. Pilate is concerned at the number of Passover pilgrims. Aeneas and Capanius are restless over a volatile Nazarene. Judas views his master with fugitive eyes. A centurion is available, awaiting the next crucifixions.
Players and props, only this is no play. It's a divine plan. A plan begun before Adam felt heaven's breath, and now all heaven waits and watches. All eyes are on one figure, the Nazarene. Commonly clad, uncommonly focused, leaving Jericho and walking toward Jerusalem. He doesn't chatter, he doesn't pause, he's on a journey, his final journey. Enter the Holy Week and observe.
Feel his passion, laughing as children sing, weeping as Jerusalem ignores, scorning as priests accuse, pleading as disciples sleep, feeling sad as Pilate turns.
Hear his promise. Death has no power. Failure holds no prisoners. Fear has no control. For God has come. God has come into your world to take you home.
When they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Jesus told them,
You will all fall away, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered. But after I have risen, I will go ahead of you into Galilee.
Peter declared.
Even if all fall away, I will not.
Jesus answered,
Truly I tell you, today, yes, tonight, before the rooster crows twice, you yourself will disown me 3 times.
But Peter insisted emphatically,
Even if I have to die with you, I will never disown you.
and all the others said the same. They went to a place called Gethsemane, and Jesus said to his disciples,
Sit here while I pray.
He took Peter, James, and John along with him, and he began to be deeply distressed and troubled.
My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch.
Going a little farther, he fell to the ground and prayed that if possible, the hour might pass from him.
Abba, Father, everything is possible for you. Take this cup from me, yet not what I will, but what you will.
Then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. He said to Peter,
Simon, are you asleep? Couldn't you keep watch for 1 hour? Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Once more he went away and prayed the same thing. When he came back, he again found them sleeping, because their eyes were heavy. They did not know what to say to him. Returning the 3rd time, he said to them,
Are you still sleeping and resting? Enough! The hour has come. Look, the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer.
Just as he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, appeared. With him was a crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priest, the teachers of the law, and the elders. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them.
The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard.
Going at once to Jesus, Judas said,
Rabbi!
Then Judas kissed him. The men seized Jesus and arrested him. Then one of those standing near drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Jesus said,
Am I leading a rebellion that you have come out with swords and clubs to capture me? Every day I was with you, teaching in the temple courts, and you did not arrest me, but the scriptures must be fulfilled.
Then everyone deserted him and fled.
They took Jesus to the high priest, and all the chief priests, the elders, and the teachers of the law came together. Peter followed him at a distance, right into the courtyard of the high priest. There he sat with the guards and warmed himself at the fire.
The chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for evidence against Jesus so that they could put him to death, but they did not find any. Many testified falsely against him, but their statements did not agree. Then some stood up and gave this false testimony against him.
We heard him say, "I will destroy this temple made with human hands, and in 3 days will build another not made with hands."
Yet even then their testimony did not agree. Then the high priest stood up before them and asked Jesus,
Are you not going to answer? What is this testimony that these men are bringing against you?
But Jesus remained silent and gave no answer. Again the high priest asked him,
Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One?
I am, and you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven.
The high priest tore his clothes and asked,
Why do we need any more witnesses? You have heard the blasphemy. What do you think?
They all condemned him as worthy of death. Then some began to spit at him. They blindfolded him, struck him with their fists, and said,
"Prophesy!" And the guards took him and beat him. While Peter was below in the courtyard, one of the servant girls of the high priest came by. When she saw Peter warming himself, she looked closely at him.
"You also are with that Nazarene, Jesus."
But he denied it.
I don't know or understand what you're talking about,
He said, and he went out into the entryway. When the servant girl saw him there, she said again to those standing around,
"This fellow is one of them."
Again he denied it. After a little while, those standing near said to Peter, "Surely you are one of them, for you are a Galilean."
He began to call down curses, and he swore to them.
I don't know this man that you're talking about.
Immediately the rooster crowed the second time. Then Peter remembered the word Jesus had spoken to him.
Before the rooster crows twice, you will disown me 3 times.
And he broke down and wept.
Very early in the morning, the chief priests with the elders, the teachers of the law, and the whole Sanhedrin made their plans. So they bound Jesus, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. Pilate asked him,
"Are you the king of the Jews?"
Jesus replied, "The chief priests accused him of many things." So again, Pilate asked him,
"Aren't you going to answer? See how many things they are accusing you of?"
But Jesus still made no reply, and Pilate was amazed.
Now it was the custom at the festival to release a prisoner whom the people requested. A man called Barabbas was in prison with the insurrectionists who had committed murder in the uprising. The crowd came up and asked Pilate to do for them what he usually did.
Do you want me to release to you the King of the Jews?
Pilate asked, knowing it was out of self-interest that the chief priests had handed Jesus over to him. But the chief priests stirred up the crowd to have Pilate release Barabbas instead.
What shall I do then with the one you call the King of the Jews?
Crucify him!
Why? What crime has he committed?
But they shouted all the louder,
Crucify him!
Wanting to satisfy the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them. He had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified.
The soldiers led Jesus away into the palace and called together the whole company of soldiers. They put a purple robe on him, then twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on him. And they began to call out to him, Again and again they struck him on the head with a staff and spit on him. Falling on their knees, they paid homage to him. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him out to crucify him.
A certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the country, and they forced him to carry the cross. They brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. Then they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it, and they crucified him. Dividing up his clothes, they cast lots to see what each would get. It was 9 a.m. when they crucified him. The written notice of the charge against him read, "The King of the Jews." They crucified 2 rebels with him, one on his right and one on his left. And those who passed by hurled insults at Jesus, shaking their heads and saying,
So, you who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, come down from the cross and save yourself.
In the same way, the chief priests and the teachers of the law mocked him among themselves.
He saved others, but he can't save himself.
Let this Messiah, this King of Israel, come down now from the cross that we may see and believe.
One of the criminals who were hanged there kept deriding him and saying,
Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us.
But the others rebuked him, saying,
Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed have been condemned justly, for we are getting what we deserve for our deeds. But this man, he has done nothing wrong.
Then he said,
Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.
He replied,
Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise.
I pray that you will not forget.
Jesus' final walk from Jericho to Jerusalem.
Was this walk that promised you freedom?
I pray that you will not forget.
Jesus' final walk through the temple of Jerusalem.
For it was on this walk that he denounced hollow religion.
I pray that you will not forget.
His final walk to the Mount of Olives.
For it was there he promised to return and take you home.
I pray that you will not forget.
Jesus' final walk from Pilate's palace to Golgotha's cross. Bare, bloody feet struggling up a stony, narrow path.
but just as vivid as the pain of the beam across his raw back is his vision of you and him walking together. He could see the hour he would come into your life, into your dark cabin, to stir you out of your sleep and guide you to freedom. But the walk isn't over. The journey isn't complete. There is one more walk that must be made. I will come back, he promised. And to prove it, he ripped into the temple curtain and split open the doors of death. He will come back. Amen. The one who has redeemed us has returned. We will cry. And the journey will end, and we will take our seats at his feast forever. See you at the table. At noon, darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. And at 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice,
Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani,
which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? When some of those standing near heard this, they said,
He's calling Elijah.
Someone ran, filled a sponge with wine vinegar, put it on a staff, and offered it to Jesus to drink.
Now leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to take him down.
With a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. The curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, and when the centurion who stood there in front of Jesus saw how he died, he said,
Surely this man was the Son of God.
When I
We're so honored that you worshiped with us today. We hope this was a meaningful time of worship for you.
We also want to invite you to join us in ministry through giving.
Because of your gifts, we can gather together in worship and fellowship.
Because of your gifts, our children, youth, and adults are growing in their faith and knowledge of God.
Because of your gifts, we can go out into the world and share the good news of Jesus.
Thank you for considering a gift to First United Methodist Church.